Hello and welcome to the Included Apps and More section for Myvi OS. In this section, we'll explain our app curation process, which applications come pre-installed, how you can install more, and at the end, for advanced users, we'll explain the 3 different application types. But don't worry, it's really simple and we'll always tell you which version of the app to install by simply hitting your Myvi key and going to the app section on the Creators Hardware website, and we'll give you instructions from there. One of the nice things about Myvi OS is that it comes with a curated list of apps. Now at Creators Hardware, we believe in quality over quantity. To check out the list, just press your Myvi key on your keyboard or select the Myvi icon at the bottom of your desktop. You'll be directed straight to the website. Go into the apps section, and here's our list of curated apps. So if you select one of the apps here, not only will you get installation instructions, you'll also get a nice quick start guide to show you how to start using the app. So before you install anything or try any other apps, make sure to check our curated list. If the application you're looking for is not here, go into the Learn section and request a topic. So let us know if you found an application that's not in our curated list. We'll go through our curation process, we'll install it, we'll test it, we'll make sure that it meets our standards. And if we're happy and if we're getting enough people that request that app, we'll add it to the application section. Otherwise, we'll just send you an individual guide to get that app started, assuming that it is available on Myvi OS. So let's get started. Myvi OS comes with 2 web browsers pre-installed. Now in the interface section, we covered how to log into Google Chrome, but we'll recap it just again. If you open up Chrome for the first time, you can select if you want to disable the user data there. Now you want to hit this button right here to sign in. Already a Chrome user, sign in. Don't go here and add a new profile. Like we explained earlier, there are some custom configurations and settings we've put into Chrome, and you'll definitely want to keep those into your user profile 1. Now, if you close out of Chrome and you open it again and you didn't sign in, that's okay. Just click on the little figure you see here and go to Turn on Sync. From there, you'll sign into profile 1. And if you want to disable sync, you'll go right back into this menu. You can disable sync later should you decide to do so. The second web browser is Firefox. We're going to hit our super key and type Fire. You'll see Firefox opens right up, and this is now the second web browser you can select from. Now both Firefox and Chrome will have this button here called GS Connect. When you're paired with Myvi Unity, that's how you can send tabs back and forth between your phone and the computer. Okay, Office applications. There are 2 Office applications that come pre-installed with Myvi OS, as well as a cloud version of Microsoft Office 365. The first program is Only Office Desktop Editors. This is an excellent program if you're looking to work on documents or spreadsheets and you're looking for something that has Microsoft Office compatibility. So if you're bringing files over from Microsoft Office, this program has excellent compatibility with Microsoft Office documents. As well as if you're used to Microsoft Office, you'll see a very familiar design in here. It's a very simple, straightforward application. And personally, I prefer to use this for every file. So even if I'm creating a new file from scratch, I still use Only Office. It's an excellent program. The second Office program is called LibreOffice. If you type Libre, you'll see a few different apps. Now LibreOffice does a little bit differently. The apps come separate. So LibreOffice Writer will be the actual documents program. The other ones will be for spreadsheets or presentations. Now if you're creating something new from scratch, Libre is excellent as well too. Slightly different interface, and a lot of the features and functionality you're looking for is here as well. And so you can select if you want to go with Only Office or LibreOffice. They're both free. They're both pre-installed. Let's go and create a test document. And I'll show you how you can actually switch between which program will be your default. So let's save this here. Save as, let's go into documents. We'll just leave it as untitled, that's fine. Okay, let's close out of that. We're gonna go into our documents folder. You see this file right here, it's an ODT. That's the default file format for LibreOffice. If you wanna switch which program will open ODT files, you just wanna right click on that file, go to Properties, and go to Open With. Then you can select a different program and set it as a default. You can also save files as a docx. Now that's the file format that Microsoft Office uses. So if you're saving it, you'll want to click this menu right here and scroll down to right there, docx. And that's going to open up in Microsoft Office. And if you open up Only Office again and you go to save a file, you'll see that that's actually how it saves by default. So File, Save As, and there it is. So anything you save in Only Office will automatically be compatible with Microsoft Office. Now, if you want to use Microsoft Office online, you can go into Office 365 Login. This will bring you to the page. You can then sign in and use the Microsoft Office Online Suite. The other program we'll take a look at is Master PDF. Now, Master PDF comes as a free version. To edit PDFs, you do have to purchase the premium version, and we'll have links on the site where you can do so. But let's open up a blank PDF. And as you can see, there's a lot of tools and functions in Master PDF. Here's something to take note of about Master PDF. So let's open up a blank PDF. We're gonna open that up. We're gonna go now save this. Now when you're saving a PDF in Master PDF, let's name it test. You wanna add .pdf at the end of your name there. If you save it under your documents now, we'll go into our files there, under documents, you'll see now test.pdf has showed up. Now I'll show you what happens. I'm gonna delete this here. And let's empty our recycle bin to remove that permanently. Now let's try saving it again, but this time we're not gonna add the .pdf extension. If I just type test and I don't put .pdf and I save it, you'll now see that nothing shows up in the file browser. Don't worry, don't freak out. If you close out Master PDF and go back to the launch page here, you'll see it just right there. Now you can go File, hit Save As again, go back into our documents, we'll name it Test, and this time we'll add the .pdf, click Save, and there it is, it shows up, test.pdf, just like normal in the file browser. Another way you can see those hidden ones is by selecting the drop-down menu and go to Show Hidden Files. You'll see this is the one we made previously that we did not add the PDF extension to. It's still there, it just doesn't show like normal in the file browser. You do have to add the .pdf at the end of every file type. Just one thing to remember about how Master PDF works. One of the nice things about Master PDF is it does an excellent job of opening all different PDF formats from different sources. So if we preview this file here, you can see it says this document requires Adobe 8 or higher. However, if we open it with Master PDF, you can now see the full document shows. So this is why we've included Master PDF by default. Now to edit PDFs, you do have to purchase a premium license. However, there is a way to edit PDFs for free, and that is with LibreDraw. So if we try and open this file with LibreDraw, there's LibreDraw. I'm gonna try and open that file. You'll see it won't open in LibreDraw. So let's go open that form there. You open it, you get that same message, right? So LibreDraw won't work in this case. For this type of file, you will have to use Master PDF. However, let's take another file and let's open that one. So here is downloads, this manual here, let's open it. There's a file that opened up in LibreDraw now. You can see the separate pages here. And so now we can edit this file. Let's double click on this and we can now delete things, change it. And once you're done, you can then go hit this button right here, export directly as PDF. We'll go into our downloads folder and we'll just call this test doc, save. Now it's saved there and we can open up our test doc and there you go. Now it's been switched to test, just at the title here. And so basically you've got two options for viewing and editing PDFs. With Master PDF, it does a great job of opening those government documents. To edit any PDFs, you will have to purchase a premium license. And LibreOffice Draw is a great free option. As long as it opens your document and the formatting is good, LibreOffice Draw does a great job of editing those documents and you can export them directly as PDFs. So two great options. LibreOffice Draw is your free version. Master PDF has a little bit better formatting and the paid version will allow you to edit PDFs. Okay, let's move on to some more creative applications. So let's pop open Kdenlive. This is our main video editing software. This is how all the videos that you've been watching here were made. So this is Kdenlive. Of course, you've got your timeline. You can bring in files and create a project here. One thing you'll want to do is go into Configure Kdenlive. You want to go into Proxy Clips and enable Proxy Clips and select Generate for videos larger than 1,000 pixels. Hit OK. Now if we go into our project here under Project Settings and you'll see proxy files, it's not enabled on this project. You can either enable it here or if you simply close the program and reopen it. Now anytime you create a new project, go into Project Settings. Because you've enabled the global setting, now those will be the defaults. What Proxy Clips do is it creates an optimized version of your clip to make your timeline scrubbing really fast. To find out more about how to use Kdenlive, just hit your Myvi key or press your Myvi icon at the bottom, go to the Creators Hardware website under Apps. You'll scroll down and there's Kdenlive. So there we'll go more in detail about how to use Kdenlive and getting started with that. Next is Krita. So Krita is great for drawing and editing photos. So if you're an artist or you want to edit some images, Krita is very handy. Here we are on Krita. Let's go into a new file. We'll just leave that default there. As you can see, you've got a whole bunch of tools and functionality on the side. You do have a cloning tool. You can, of course, stretch things and skew things. There's a lot of features and functionality, as well as a color wheel if you right click. So when you're drawing, you can get quick access to different settings. Again, go to the website and go to the app section under Krita. We'll go more in depth about Krita. But this is essentially a photo editing program, as well as great for those artists who want to draw on the computer. We edit all of our thumbnails in Krita. So if you go to our YouTube page, all of our thumbnails were made in Krita. The next program we're going to take a look at is Inkscape. Inkscape is very powerful for creating scalable vector graphics. So let's leave the canvas default, and under appearance we can select colorful, and this will give us more colorful icons there. We can click save, and let's open up a new document. So our logo, the badge that's on the computer, a lot of the images we create for our branding was created in Inkscape. The nice thing about scalable vectors is that they can be scaled larger or smaller without any quality loss. If you scale a picture larger, of course, the image quality goes down. With a scalable vector, you can scale it as large as you want and you don't lose any quality. So this is great for logos, badges, things that you may want to put on a t-shirt, but you also want to put on a billboard or on a keychain. You can create the scalable vector graphic. That'll allow you to use it in a ton of different ways without losing any quality. And the nice thing is, if you close out of Inkscape, every time you open it, you get this little pop-up menu here. You can go back into quick setup and change the look and appearance of the program, depending on your preference. Okay, next is Darktable. This is for developing raw photos. So you can import a ton of photos into Darktable, and that way you can actually edit a ton of them at once. Great for those who are taking photos with their camera and they want to do some color grading on those images. This is where Darktable comes in handy. And you've got your light table, which brings your photos in, the darkroom, which is where you'll actually edit the pictures, and you can export them all in one shot. So Darktable is great for the photographers out there. Okay, next is OBS Studio. So this is open broadcasting software. This is actually what we're using to record right now. So as you can see, this is the OBS interface. Now we'll show you how to get started with OBS, as well as the settings you want to input right away. And to find out more about OBS, again, hit your Myvi key, go into the application section and select OBS. And here's a quick start guide on how to get started with OBS. So OBS can be found in the dock right here. There's our OBS Studio. Let's open that up. We'll be prompted with a first time setup wizard. So it'll ask you optimize for streaming or optimize for recording. Most users will want to go with recording. Click next. Base canvas, so you want to set this to your display 1. Now whether you selected the 27-inch screen or the 32-inch screen for the Myvi Complete Desktop Kit, you can select 1440p. Both screens are the same resolution. And FPS will go into 60 frames per second. We'll hit next. You'll see the screen's going to flash a little bit. That's okay, it's just going to do its first time setup. Once that's done, I'll show you a few more additional settings you'll want to select, and then you'll be ready to start recording. Okay, so that's done now. Let's hit apply settings. There's our main interface. Now if you go on the bottom right side, you can select settings right there, and this will bring up our main settings window. And let's go first off into video. So it's going to be recording the screen at 1440, but it's going to output the resolution at 1080. You'll want to select that and put that up to 1440p so your output file actually matches the screen size. Then you'll want to go into output, and under recording quality, it's set to high. You can set it to indistinguishable quality. So this will actually give you basically like near native quality and still fairly reasonable file sizes. And then last but not least, you're going to want to go into hotkeys and select start recording and stop recording and just hit super R. So I'm going to hit super and R. When I hit super R, it shows up there. And then under stop recording, the same thing. We'll hit super R. So now you can start and stop recording both with super R. Hit apply. And okay, so now those settings have been configured, and now you can add input sources just right here. So under sources, we can go select a new one. Let's go under screen capture and select OK. Now our screen is actually being captured in OBS, and you want to leave everything here. That's fine. Let's now add our webcam. So we'll select another new input source and go to video capture device and then hit OK. There's our webcam showing up now. And here's the settings you'll want to change. So resolution, the webcam that comes with the desktop kit is a 1080p webcam. So let's select 1920 by 1080, and the frame rate will switch that to 60. Everything else is okay. You don't want to mess with anything else here. Hit OK. And so there's our webcam now recording, as well as a screen capture behind it. Now in my case, as you can see, this wood panel is not large enough to fit behind a 1080p canvas. So what I did was I just selected that. You'll see red now has selected the webcam. I can actually make this smaller and move it to the side. So something just like along that.
And what I like to do is hit the dock at the bottom and make sure the dock's not being cut off. So it is being cut off there. We want to make this a little bit smaller. And there you go. Now the dock is not being cut off at the bottom. And now that we're all set up with our screen capture and webcam in OBS, let's do a test recording. So what I'll do is I'll hit Super R. As you can see in the bottom right side, it lets you know that you are recording there. And on the top right side, you'll see a little indicator with a blue dot. That's the OBS Studio indicator, and that's showing you that it is in fact recording.
And what I can do is I can switch out into another workspace just like that, and the webcam will still show. This is a test recording in OBS Studio. Our screen capture software and our webcam have been loaded up. And as you can tell, the quality is amazing. And then we'll hit Super R to stop. Okay, so now let's take a look at the two music apps that come with Myvi OS. First off, there's Spotify. The nice thing about Spotify is it does have a free version. It'll let you select individual songs. You will just hear ads in between those songs. You can go ahead and log in or sign up at the top right side if you already have an account or you want to create a new one. Now Spotify does ship as a web application. The reason why we do that is because the web app version of Spotify does respect the tiling a bit better. It doesn't take any additional space on the computer. It's basically a website turned into an app, as well as the sound quality seems to be better on the web application version compared to the native version. So for those reasons, you'll want to stick with the web app version. As you can see in the top right side, this is open.spotify.com turned into a web app. The other web app that we have for music is Apple Music. Now, unfortunately, Apple Music does not have a free version, but with Apple Music, you can click sign in at the top right side. If you are an Apple user, you'll be good to go. Now, any video clips or audio clips that you have locally on the machine will open up in MPV. So let's go into our downloads folder. We're going to switch off our tiling and open up this video just right here. As you can see, it opens up in MPV. Press the spacebar to pause it. A very simple interface, nothing too crazy. And if you go into default applications, hit your super key, type default apps, you'll see that music and video clips locally on the machine will open in MPV. It does a great job of opening a ton of different file types. And of course, remember, you don't even have to open up the program. You can simply hit your spacebar and you'll see the preview window pops up there. Now, if you'd like to add programs like Netflix or Amazon Prime Video to your All Applications menu, just go to their website. Here we are signed into Prime Video. We'll select the drop-down menu on the top right side on Chrome, go to More Tools, hit Create Shortcut, and Open as a window. And so now this has been added to our Applications drawer. We can do the same thing with Netflix. Here we are signed into Netflix. We'll go to the same place on Chrome, drop-down menu, More Tools, Create Shortcut, and Open as a window. And now Netflix has been added to our applications drawer. If we go into show all apps, you'll now see Netflix is there, as well as Amazon Prime Video is there. If you open those up, these are now web applications, no address bar at the top, and you're already signed right into your Prime account or Netflix account. So to install something, you'll want to open up your software center at the bottom here. You can see some categories at the bottom, or of course search for an application. So for example, let's type Kdenlive. There's our Kdenlive video editor already installed. So you can install it just by hitting a button that will show up right here under install. Let's go under, for example, audio and video. Let's see what pops up here. So there's a bunch of applications. For example, if you want to install OBS Studio, which is an audio engineering software, there's your install button just right there. And of course, you can see everything that you have installed by going back to the home page and going under installed. This is everything that's installed on the system. You can remove anything here as well if you need to. And changing application defaults, just hit your super key, type default. You'll see a program that comes up called default applications. This is within your settings menu. So for web, it's going to be Chrome, mail will be Geary, music and videos MPV, and photos is GThumb. For additional file types, just go to the file itself. Let's go into our downloads right here. Here's our docs. That's the Microsoft Office format. Just right click on that, go under properties and go to open with. So each individual file type, you can just right click on the file and select which program you want it to open with. Once you hit the program, you'll hit set as default, and now that will switch to that new program. Now let's go through the 3 different application types that are compatible with Myvi OS. But don't worry, we'll keep this real simple, and we'll also tell you which one is the best one to choose in the curated apps section. So Myvi OS supports 3 different app types. Remember, always check creatorshardware.com, hit your Myvi key or press your Myvi icon and go to the curated apps section. We'll let you know what the installation instructions are. Here are the 3 different types. The first one is simple and straightforward. Web applications. These are websites turned into apps. So you've seen us do this with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Google Drive if you've watched the previous guides. The nice thing is they don't use any additional storage, no need to update. So let's open up Chrome. Let's make YouTube into a web application. Now some websites will actually have a button right here that says install YouTube. That's going to direct it to a web application. If that button is not there, a lot of websites may not have that button. Just select the drop down menu, go to more tools, go to create shortcut and hit open as a window. Now YouTube has been installed on our system as a web application. So if I go into show all apps, we'll see that YouTube is now going to show up here. There's our YouTube app. If you open that up, it's logged right in and you're taken directly to that home page. And now there's no more address bar at the top. To uninstall a web application, just select the three dots here at the top and hit uninstall YouTube, hit remove, and now that's uninstalled the YouTube web application. The next application type is native apps. These are denoted as Ubuntu in the Software Center. So these applications have full access to the system. Think about if you had some guests over at your house, they're inside of your home, they have full access to the home. Because of that, a password is required to install the native applications. They typically won't update and will remain on the same version for the life of the operating system. So these applications will stay the same until the next version of Myvi OS comes out. When a new Myvi OS comes out, there'll be a new list of native applications within the Software Center. This is very useful for large companies, governments, or schools that want long-term consistency across many computers. So if you have 1,000 Myvis, you want them all to stay on the same version of an application, you want to train a bunch of employees, and you don't want it updating or changing on you, you'll want to stick with the Ubuntu apps. These are listed as Ubuntu in the Software Center, and I'll show you where you can find that. The last version, and this is the version we recommend for most users, is called Flatpaks. These are universal applications. So these applications do not have full access to the system and have no password required to install. They're great for privacy and security because they run in what's called a software container. So going back to the house analogy, imagine if in your backyard you had a guest house. You have your guests staying over and they're in the guest house. While they're on the property, they are not in the main house. So this is great for privacy and security because those apps don't have access to the full system. They are compatible with many operating systems, not just Myvi OS. Flatpaks are now available to be installed on Chromebooks. There's a new handheld gaming console called the Steam Deck by Valve, and that supports Flatpaks. You can install Flatpaks in a ton of other operating systems, even on Windows using a feature called WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. You can even install Flatpaks on Windows now as well. So that's what we mean when we say universal apps. They're not specific to Myvi OS. The benefit of that is that typically they're the latest version of the app available and they are self-updating. So application developers, when they release an application, they're going to most likely release the Flatpak first because that gets them access to the largest audience. Flatpaks are recommended to most users and small to medium businesses. They'll be listed as FlatHub in the Software Center. So if you're not sure which one to install, just stick with the Flatpak. That is your go-to application type, and I'll show you now where you can figure out which one you're installing in the Software Center. Let's open up our Software Center now. And let's type LibreOffice. So if you look at the bottom, we already have LibreOffice installed. Now if you look, LibreOffice has LibreWriter, LibreDraw. If we select one of these and we look under source, you'll see Ubuntu. So this is the long-term supported version, updated never. So this will not update until the next version of Myvi OS comes out. But by default, we've installed the Flatpak. If you look here at LibreOffice, the Flatpak actually encompasses all of these applications together. If we select LibreOffice, you'll see source is FlatHub, and this one's already been installed. So we do ship with the Flatpak version of LibreOffice by default. And so you'll see sometimes applications will have two separate listings. Just select the one that you're looking at and go under source, and that'll tell you which version of the app that you're installing. Some other programs will show you an actual drop-down menu in the top right side. So now let's search for Darktable. Again, Darktable has been installed as the Flatpak version by default. But as you can see in the top right side, source is FlatHub. You can switch to the Ubuntu version should you need to. And there now you can see you're installing the Ubuntu version, and we'll switch back to the Flatpak, and this is the version we recommend by default. So sometimes it may show up in the top right side. You'll just select this drop-down menu to switch between the two. And the nice thing about the Software Center is it will select Flatpaks by default. So in most cases, we recommend sticking with the Flatpak, and that is the default method that's going to be installed. And remember, before you install anything, always hit your Myvi key or your Myvi icon, come to the website, go into the app section and find further instructions there on the app you're looking for. If the app you're looking for is not there and you found it in the software store, you're unsure, go ahead to the Learn section, fill out the form here, and let us know what information you're looking for, and we'll do our curation process. We'll install the application, we'll test it, make sure it meets our standards, and then we'll update the application section. One last thing to take note of about the Software Center is sometimes when you open it, if your computer's been on for a couple of days, you'll see this message that pops up at the top that says something like .service files are not available. This is not a problem. You can simply close out of it and go about your business. That error pops up only because some applications are self-updating. The message will also go away if you restart your computer or if you run a super update. And we'll cover what super update is in the productivity section. Essentially, it's going to update your operating system itself, security features, hardware compatibility, as well as all of your apps. So super update is very powerful and increases your productivity and gets rid of the update message from interrupting your workflow. So if you want to be proactive, you'll want to run super updates, and we'll show you how to use that in the productivity section. So that's it for the app section. You know which apps have now come pre-installed, how to install more, where to find more information about the applications. See you in the next section.